Hi guys, I'm Jess and I wanted to talk to you today about the 18 books that I am most excited to see being released in 2018. Now this list starts with the continuation of series that I'm all caught up in and very much a very big fan of, and then I start going into authors who I have read books of but I'm not so up to date, or maybe this is the beginning of a new series, and then I start to go into authors for whom I own some of their books but I haven't read any of them yet, and then into completely new authors to what I know of. So this isn't in any particular order, but technically at the top for me right now is Iron Gold by Pierce Brown. That is getting released this January. It is coming out days from now. I am incredibly excited. Red Rising is the only sci-fi series that I really closely follow. I'm wondrously excited for it. Next, also by Pierce Brown and announced sort of at the end of 2017, was that the book to follow on from Iron Gold, called Dark Age, should be released in September this year, if we are very lucky. So I'm also excited for that, to see the continuation of the series without too much of a wait in between. That's going to be really good. Next, moving on to All Things Wonderful about Sarah J Maas. The first book that should be coming out by her this year is A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is only a novella, but I'm happy to see anything about Rhys, a little bit more detail into him, and that should be coming out in May, I believe. Next, of course, on the Maas list is the long-awaited Throne of Glass number 7. It is an untitled book thus far. It is going to be the last in the series. So much happened in Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, and it's all going to come to this big conclusion in September this year that I can't wait for. Next on my Sarah J Maas list is Catwoman Soul Stealer, the book 3 to DC Icons, releasing in August. Catwoman was the character that got me into comics, so it's very nice to see that Sarah J Maas will be taking on her character. Next on my list is Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard, book 4 in the Red Queen series, and I'm very interested to see how this all gets wrapped up in May. Next is a fairly new author, but is a book that I completely raged about for the last half of 2017. It is The Caged Queen, which is book 2 of the Last Namzara series by Kristen Ciccarelli. That should be released in September, and I absolutely loved the first book. I can't wait to see how it's going to develop. My next on the list is Reaper at the Gates, which is part of Sabaa Tahir's An Ember in the Ashes series. I actually haven't read A Torch Against the Night yet, so I need to do a full reread of An Ember in the Ashes and then Torch Against the Night to lead me up to Reaper at the Gates for the release in June. Next on my list is State of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury, and that should be coming out in March, so quite soon. I really loved all the writing style of Sin Eater's Daughter, so I'm hoping it continues, and I did hear Melinda speaking about where she kind of got some inspiration for this in the Fantasy and Folklore talk with Lisa Ludiker and Samantha Shannon, so I'm really intrigued as to what she's got from it. These Revel Waves is coming out in August by Sarah Rush. I have read the first 2 books of the Snow Like Ashes series, I think, and I need to finish up on the last book. I did enjoy them, and I'm quite excited to see what she's doing in A New World. Next on my list is a book that was really recently announced. It's called Only Love Can Break Your Heart, and that's by the author of Wing Jones, Catherine Webber, and that is due for release in August. I really surprised myself with how much I like Wing Jones. I don't like contemporary novels so much, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it and I'm excited. Catherine's absolutely lovely, so I'm excited to see what else she's got on her plate. Next up is a book that has already come out, and that's The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And I have not read any of Holly Black's books. I have got The Darkest Part of the Forest on my shelves, but unfortunately have never had time to read it. I'll get there eventually. I saw Barnes & Noble had a special edition black copy of this, and I didn't order it, which makes me really sad now because it was absolutely gorgeous. This was getting nothing but fantastic reviews in the ARC format, so I'm really excited to get into this. Next on my list is Hero at the Fall, book 3 of Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton that's coming out this January. I'm actually going to an event in London where I will get the book a couple of days early with some goodies, which is going to be fantastic. However, I do feel quite bad considering I haven't read the books yet, so I'm going to try and storm through these books before the event comes up. On my list after that, I have Batman Nightwalker by Mary Lou. DC Icons is a series I'm going to follow quite well because I really do prefer DC stories over Marvel. I have not read any of Mary Lou's books. I have got most of them. Warcross got absolutely fantastic reviews last year, so I'll have a look at it eventually maybe, but I had to pick this up because it matches the Wonder Woman hardcover that I've got. Another book that I'm anticipating from an author who I have read slight bits of her work but not finished a full novel yet, and I do own pieces, is Clean by Juno Dawson, which is due out in, I believe, April. It is getting excellent reviews thus far, so quite excited to see what new is on the plate for her. Now going into what I think are some debut authors, I have got Zenith on my list, a little bit more sci-fi to shake up my world, by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. That has already come out. It was a January release. It is out in the world. I'm not sure if I've seen it in Waterstones yet, but I'll be trying to pre-order or maybe get a library copy at some point. So that should be really exciting. It sounds like lots and lots of fun. Something else that's caught my eye, the cover being the main reason it's caught my eye, and you can probably guess why, is Reign of the Fallen by Sarah Glenn Marsh. That is coming out this month as well, I believe. It's lots of January releases that I'm excited for. Yeah, mostly it's the cover that intrigues me on this one. And last on my list of 18 is a book that was included as an ARC in the Fairy Loot box that I missed last year, and that is Fury Born by Claire Legrand. That's due out in May, and if Fairy Loot are giving out ARCs, then they are thinking that it's going to be big, so I'm excited to get my hands on that when the full copy comes out. So that's my kind of rough list of the books that I'm really excited to see in 2018. Hopefully I will actually read them before 2018 is over. That would be nice to kind of catch up as much as I can on the new releases on my shelves. Of course, more authors will announce more books as the year goes on. For example, I can't find any evidence of any books being released by Lee Bardugo or Laini Taylor this year, which is quite odd. But then Lee Bardugo, I do think, had 3 books released last year, and Strange the Dreamer should be having another book out at some point soon. So it's just finding out whether these are like 2019 releases. Samantha Shannon, of course, Bone Season, that's not going to be coming out. I think it's Priory, Priory the Orange Tree, or something like that, is going to be coming out 2019 sooner than Bone Season number 4, so I have plenty of time to read Song Rising. But there are many books that I need to catch up on for future releases that will hopefully be this year, if not next year. So it's exciting times. Let me know what kind of books you guys are very interested to see in 2018. Let me know of some new debut authors who you think will be worth getting into early. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.